With deliberation, one will see the Supreme Soul, although manifested in different ways, is actually the basic principle of everything. The total material energy is the cause of the material manifestation, but the material energy is caused by Him. Therefore, He is the cause of all causes, the manifestation of intelligence and the senses. He is perceived as the super soul of everything. Without Him, everything would be dead. You, as that super soul, the Supreme Controller, are the only one remaining. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word sarva-vastuni, vastu-svarūpaḥ indicate that the Supreme Lord is the active principle of everything, as described in the Brahma Samhita. Eko api asor achaitam jagat-ananta-kotim tatchaktir asti jagat-anda chaya yadananta adantaram stam paramanu tarantaram stam govindamari-pusha tamaha bhajami. I worship the personality of Godhead Govinda, who enters the existence of every universe and every atom by one of his plenary portions, and thus manifests his infinite energy throughout the material creation. By his one plenary portion as Paramatma, Antaryami, the Lord is all-pervading throughout the unlimited universes. He is the pratyag or Antaryami of all living entities. The Lord says in Bhagavad-Gita 13.3, Kshetragya chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharta. Askarana Bharta, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. Because the Lord is the Super Soul, He is the active principle of every living entity and even the atom. Adantaram sta paramanu chaitantaram stam. He is the actual reality. According to various stages of intelligence, one realizes the presence of the Supreme in everything through the manifestation of His energy. The entire world is permeated by the three modes, and one can understand His presence according to one's modes of material nature. Om Agyanatирandasya Janajana Sakaya Sakshu Mitam Zena Tasmei Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Danti Svam Padantikam. Namo Vishnu Budaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Charni Navase Shunyavadi Paskacha Desatarni. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasade Gaur Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation once again. With deliberation, one will see that the Supreme Soul, although manifested in different ways, is actually the basic principle of everything. The total material energy is the cause of material manifestation, but the material energy is caused by Him. Therefore, He is the cause of all causes, the manifester of intelligence and the senses. He is perceived as the Super Soul of everything. Without Him, everything would be dead. you as that super soul, supreme control, are the only one remaining. So, this is the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Lord Indra is the king of heaven. But still, he makes mistakes. He's always getting himself in trouble. So, first, he disrespected his spiritual master, Brihaspati, came in the assembly when Indra was sitting there, very proud of his position, didn't respect his spiritual master, Brihaspati. So Brihaspati went away, and Indra, even though he searched for Brihaspati, couldn't find him anywhere to beg forgiveness. He understood his mistake. So then the demons took over, gained power. So Indra was told that you should accept Vishwarupa as your spiritual master, even though he was inclined toward the demons. So first Indra disrespected his spiritual master, had to suffer a sinful reaction. Then he accepted Vishwarupa as his spiritual master. Vishwarupa had 3 heads, one for drinking wine, one for drinking soma ras, and one for taking prasadam, or eating. So Indra found out that Vishwarupa was giving part of the share of the sacrifice to the demons, and therefore he cut off their head, 3 heads of Vishwarupa, and they became birds. So again, Indra had to suffer a sinful reaction. So then, so this is 2 times Indra has committed Vaishnava aparad. So in this chapter, the demigods, they're trying to petition the Lord for protection. In verse 21 to 29, they offer prayers to the Lord. To those of you who are attending the class in Bhagavatam regularly, you can understand these things. Vaisheshika Purdue, he wrote one book called Family Business. In that book, he gave the history of book distribution, then he gave the chapter 13 and 14. Everybody, especially new bhaktas, new devotees, should read those 2 chapters. In those 2 chapters, he's describing the importance of sadhana. He says the first principle for book distribution is you should show up for the morning program. Many devotees don't have this in their consciousness, or may not think it's important to come to the morning program. But most temples, most of the devotees come to the morning programs. If you're living in a small temple, at least the authorities should see that devotees come. Because sadhana, we're practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. And by having a good sadhana means regularly rising before 4 o'clock, coming to Mangala Arati, chanting your 16 rounds every day, attending Darshan Arati, Guru Puja in class. This gives one strength to perform devotional service. When Lord Chaitanya When Lord Chaitanya met King Prataparuja, he didn't want to meet the king because he was a sannyasi, and kings represent pound, shilling, pence, or materialistic people, persons. Anyway, when finally King Prataparuja met Lord Chaitanya, he said, "What service can I do for you?" And Srila Prabhupada wrote in the purport that our service attitude comes by the way we chant our rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the importance, and Prabhupada is stressing this throughout his purports, throughout his teachings, that everyone that is initiated in this movement must chant 16 rounds. He says it's not very difficult. It takes approximately 2 hours to chant 16 rounds. So if you made that contract with your spiritual master and with the fire, with the deities, time of initiation, you agree to chant 16 rounds, then you must do that every single day. If for some reason you can't finish your 16 rounds one day, then you can make it up the next day, but you shouldn't eat or sleep till you make up the rounds you missed and chant 16 rounds again, so that you won't miss your quota. So this is called sadhana. Because we're practicing bhakti sadhana bhakti, we have to be strict about these things. And Vaishnavi is stressing that by good sadhana, then one can perform good service, and mainly he's saying book distribution. Book distributors, if they have good sadhana, then their character is good, then they're able to be fired up to distribute books and preach to people. So everything goes hand in hand. Good sadhana leads to good service attitude. So whether you're cleaning the temple, or dressing the deities, or cooking for the deities, or whatever service you may be doing, preaching, selling books, if you have good sadhana, then your preaching, then your devotional activities will also be of a good quality. If you don't have good sadhana, then the anarthas, offenses are there, then there's every chance that one can leave Krishna consciousness. But if one has a strong sadhana and is sincere and serious about devotional service, then there's less chance that Maya will grab you, take you away. You'll be able to stay in the mode of goodness and keep Maya away. So anyway, in this verse, demigods also offer prayers to Lord Vishnu because they want protection. They want help to get protection so that they can defeat the demon Vritrashura. This chapter is called The Appearance of Vritrashura. Vritrashura was a demon, but actually he was a devotee who got cursed to become a demon. So this is the appearance of Vritrashura, but it's not the same as Janmashtami or Gaur Purnima, the appearance of Vaishnava Acharyas. We don't celebrate, it's not on our Vaishnava calendar, the appearance of Vritrashura. But he was an exalted devotee, and he got cursed to become a demon to facilitate his going back to Godhead very quickly. So the demigods, whenever they get in trouble, they worship Lord Vishnu for help. So Lord Vishnu appeared to them in verse 29 to 30. So the followers of other religions, Muslims, Christians, Jews, whoever they may be, these are called 10th class religions or Kaitava Dharma, because they have no clear conception of God, And in most part, they say God cannot have a form. Because when we say God has a form, they think that God must have a form like you and me, a material form. And we know this material form, which is made of mucus, bile, and air, and all kinds of foul substances, is not spiritual. So they think that God cannot have a form because he's spiritual. And they don't know the difference between spirit and matter. But Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, Brahma Samhita says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satyananda Vigraha Nandinanda Govindam Sarva-Karanam. So, to limit God, if we can have a form, then why God cannot have a form? The Bible says man is created in the image of God. So if we have form, then God also can have a form. So he can have a form, or he cannot have a form, or he can reveal his form to certain people and not reveal his form to certain people. So because the demigods are pious, there's two kinds of devotees. The Sadkarma devotee, which are the demigods, they pray to Vishnu. They know about Vishnu, about Krishna, but at the same time, they want to enjoy material opulence. So what is Srimad Bhagavatam says, Akama Saro Kama Va Moksha Karma Udaradi Divrena Bhakti Yogena Jaite Purusham Param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desires, without material desires, or die in liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. So the demigods, they do that, but they don't go back to Godhead by worshiping the Lord for protection from the demons and Rakshasas. And the Lord, he does protect them in so many instances in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the 8th canto, there's so many times the Lord comes to the rescue of the demigods. But this is not the desire of the devotee. The devotee is akarma, means he has no material desires. Demigods approach the Lord for relief from their distress, but the devotee, he's never disturbed in any circumstance, and he doesn't ask anything. It's like Prabhupada said, after World War II, the communists went to the people and said, the people didn't have food. They told the people, you go to church and ask God for your bread. So they went to the church and they prayed to God for bread, but no bread came. So then they went to the communists and said, the dear communists, give us bread. So the communists brought their bread trucks, and so they became atheists. So the Christians, they pray to God for, give us our daily bread. But we don't have to do that because we know Krishna is supplying everything to all living entities. Ishabhasham idam sarvam. All living entities is being supplied by nature. So the devotee doesn't ask God for any material benefits. But the devotee thinks, Tate nukampam shukshmano bhujanam evatma Vitam vapakam, vidbhagva bhurbir, vidam namaste, jiveta yo mukta pare sadayabak. My dear Lord, one who honestly waits for you to bestow your mercy, causes mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reaction of past misdeeds, and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So, when Lord Chaitanya met Sarva-Bhacharya, he was a Mayavadi, he was the reservoir of all bad logic. So, when Lord Chaitanya converted him to Vaishnavism, Shri Gaura Krishna Balaram Radha Shyama Sunali Vishaka Ki Jai. When Lord Chaitanya converted him to Vaishnavism, he quoted this same verse, but he changed the word. Where it says Mukti Pada, he put in the word Bhakti Pada. Because formerly he was a Mayavadi, and Mayavadi and personalists, they want to merge, Mukti. They want to get liberation, go to the Brahma Yoti. So he changed the word to Bhakti Pada, because he couldn't tolerate to hear that word anymore. But Lord Chaitanya said to Sarva-Bhacharya, why have you changed this word in this verse? And Lord Chaitanya said no. He showed him that this word, mukti, in this verse refers to bhakti, that it's not wrong, it should be there. So devotees, in any situation, we don't blame Krishna. If we get sick, if we have pain, if whatever happens to devotee, we don't say blame Krishna. We don't say it's Krishna's fault, because it's due to our past karma, past prarabdha karma, from past life sinful activities. So, because we're independent living and we have free will, we acted something we did in our past life. So the devotee, if he cuts his finger, he takes that as Krishna's mercy. One king was out hunting and he got his thumb cut off. So he went to his minister and asked him, what do you think about this? I got my thumb cut off when I was hunting. And the minister said, that's Krishna's mercy. So the king became angry and he said, you nonsense. How can this be Krishna's mercy? So he put his minister in jail. And then hunting again, and he was caught by some dacoits who wanted to sacrifice the king to goddess Durga or Kalyani. They wanted to do a human sacrifice. But then they saw that the king had one limb missing, and so they couldn't sacrifice him, so they let him go. So he came back to his kingdom, and he released his advisor from jail. He says, now I understand that what you said, it was Krishna's mercy, but I put you in jail. How is that Krishna's mercy? And he said, the advisor said, because if you hadn't put me in jail, then I would have gone along with you, and they would have sacrificed me to goddess Kali instead of you. So in this way, in all circumstances, devotees are never disturbed and don't try to ask the Lord for anything. One man came here one morning in Mangala Arati. He put his court case in front of Radha Shyama Sundar. So I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I got a court case. I want the Lord to solve my court case. So I told him, Krishna's busy having his Ras Leela and playing with the gopis. He doesn't have time for your court case. You better go get yourself a good lawyer. This man, he wasn't a devotee, he didn't have tilak, he was just some outside person. So people think they can go to the Lord, pray to the Lord for material benefits. But this is not the mentality of a devotee. The devotee does not ask the Lord for any material. It's like Sudama Brahman. He was so poor, his wife and him were so poor, they were shivering, they didn't have food, they didn't have clothes, they didn't have anything. But his wife told him, you go to Krishna meet your friend Krishna. Maybe he'll help us, at least relieve us from our impoverished condition. So the Sudama Brahman, he went to Krishna, met him in Dwarka. But he didn't ask anything from Krishna. So when he was coming back from meeting Krishna, he said, well, I got to meet the Lord, but he didn't give me anything. But when he returned to his village, he saw that there was a palatial building, many maidservants. His wife's body had transformed into a beautiful lady, and he himself transformed into a beautiful man. So Krishna did award him, but he knew Sudama Brahman's mentality that even if he was living in opulence, he wouldn't misuse that. He would still maintain his Krishna consciousness. So the devotee, in all circumstances, we must go on with our Krishna consciousness no matter what the circumstances are. Even if one is unable to perform a sadhana or chant, then he can practice fasting. Even Haridas Thakur, it was what brought some Mahaprasadam. He said, I'm fasting. I can't finish my rounds. So Mahaprabhu said, now you're old, you can reduce the number of rounds. But according to time, place, and circumstance, the devotee has to do the best he can to continue his Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not something we do for one day or 1 month or 1 year, but it's for life. Prabhupada wanted all the devotees to be president for life, to be GBC for life, to do everything for their entire life. Of course, it may not be possible for some people. So this verse is giving real knowledge. Knowledge means to know the difference between the material energy, difference between matter and spirit, and the controller of both. Material scientists say there's no life on any other planet. They say that there's that life comes from matter, but this verse is talking about demigods. In the dictionary, it says demigods are better than the mortal, or are some fictitious personalities who have greater power than the human beings. But it's not that the demigods are fictitious or mythology. When Krishna erected Dwarka fort, it says in that story that there are 33 million controlling demigods. Before Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, he called the demigods to come to his system in the Yadu dynasty. Also, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, the residents from all the 14 planetary systems, there's 7 upper planets and 7 lower planets. It says all the residents from all 14 planetary systems came in the skies to see the Lord. So this idea that there's no life on any other planet, we can't accept that. Just because they can't perceive it or can't see it with their imperfect senses, they come to this conclusion. And their false ego also makes them believe this way. The Srimad Bhagavatam was written by Srila Vyasadeva and by Sukadeva Goswami, and they didn't have imperfect senses, and they didn't give mundane knowledge, they gave the perfect knowledge that there is life on every planet, and even on the moon planet. They say they went to the moon and brought back some rocks and says a barren desert. The Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, I enter the moon, I become the moon, and supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So if you go to the Rajasthan desert, how many vegetables will you bring back? So vegetables can't grow in a desert. And it also says in the Bhagavad-Gita that the sages, when the yogi leaves his body at a certain time, he goes to the moon planet and drinks summer grass and lives there for 10,000 years. So this defeats all these scientists. They have a poor fount of knowledge. Maya prakriti gyan. By Maya's arrangement, they have a poor fount of knowledge. But here in Bhagavad-Gita 13.3 says, O Skayana Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower of all bodies, and to understand this body and this knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. So not only does God have a form and that He's the active principle, here it says that He's in every atom. There are six philosophies. There are atheistic philosophies. Some say that the cause of everything is the atom. But behind the atom within the atom is the Supersoul, which is life. Life cannot come from matter. You cannot produce life from matter. They're trying in their laboratories to produce life from matter. But it's not possible. You take one car and put it next to another car, you can't produce a baby car. Matter cannot come from matter. Only one living being can come from another living being. So everyone has a father, and his father has a father, his father has a father. And if you trace back to the original father, Hambija Pradapita, Krishna says that I'm the original father. And he's the source of all life. Srila Prabhupada was talking to some scientists, and he said that if you water the root of the tree, then all the branches, roots, leaves will grow very nicely. So the scientist was supposed to be very intelligent. He said, well, we don't care about the roots. We just pick the leaves and make tea. So he couldn't understand a simple analogy. So this is what we have to, we have our book, Life Comes from Life, and different books which are easy to read and we can distribute to people so they can get a clear understanding of what's what and who's who. Although this Krishna consciousness is not Hinduism, it's not an ism, this is the science of the self, science of the soul. This is Sanatan Dharma, eternal living, the eternal occupation of the soul. Every person, everyone in this world is a spirit soul. Hum Brahmasmi. The soul is not Hindu or Muslim or Jewish or Christian, but the soul is eternal servant of Krishna, eternal servant of God. It's like the sun. The sun is shining in India, the sun is shining in America, the sun is shining in China, but you can't say it's an American sun or an Indian sun or a Chinese sun. So in the same way, everyone is a spirit soul, and everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. And this is what Krishna consciousness is trying to teach the world. Some of the government officials, they say, we're not an educational institution, but we're the best educational institution because we're giving the absolute truth. In the schools, they have textbooks and they teach so many things, but every couple of years they change the textbook, they change their theory. It's like Darwin's theory of evolution. They teach that in the school, but Darwin didn't know anything about the soul. So his theory can't be accepted as truth, as the absolute truth. And so, but we're giving the science the absolute truth. That's why we're distributing so many books. That's why we're preaching to people. We're giving a real education that people didn't get when they went to school. Some people go to school for many years, get a degree, get a PhD, but still they can't understand what human life is meant for. They can't understand that they're not this body, that they're a spirit soul. And this is what we're trying to teach people, that we're not this body, and we're not meant to enjoy sense gratification till the day we die. So the devotee's activities may seem the same as the outside people's activities, but they're not the same, because the devotee is acting for the pleasure of Krishna, where all the people outside people are acting for their own sense gratification. So therefore, we tell everyone is required to follow 4 regulated principles: no meeting, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. And also in nectar devotion, there are 64 items given that we should also follow. And of those, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna, worshiping the deities, attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, and what's the last one? Living in a place like Mathura or a temple. These are the 5 most important items, and this we are doing every single day. So devotee's life, and then this Lord Chaitanya came 500 years ago to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. Goloke Premadana Harinam Sankirtana. So by chanting Hare Krishna, following its principles, devotees are living happy life. It's simple life, easy, simple living, and high thinking. Devotees are happy, and we're not in anxiety about getting so many material things and so many problems that are there in the world today. So if one has any intelligence or has any sukriti from his past life, then by reading Prabhupada books, by chanting Hare Krishna, one will take to devotional service and make his life successful. So Bhaktisiddhanta also commented on this verse from Brahma Samhita, which says, I worship the personality God Govinda, who entered the existence of every universe and every atom by one of his plenary portions, and thus manifests his infinite energies throughout the material creation. So this verse confirms the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Chinta Veda Veda Tattva, that we're simultaneously one and different. If anyone thinks he can become the Lord, this is a great offense. We're not the Lord, but we're a part of the Lord. It's like you take a drop of water from the sea, it has the same qualities of the sea, but it can never become the sea. Qualitatively one, but quantitatively different. So the Paramatma is in everyone's heart and is directing the wandering of all living entities. They asked Srila Prabhupada if you can speak to God, and Prabhupada said yes. Then his servant tried to give some philosophical explanation, but Prabhupada cut him off and said, no, I speak directly to God. And Prabhupada said his purports were dictated to him from Supersoul. So Prabhupada was a self-realized soul, Uttama topmost devotee. Therefore, he was able to accomplish so many wonderful things in a very short time. And he translated and purported Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so all devotees, he said all his devotees in this movement must read every word that Srila Prabhupada has written, otherwise they will become lazy and not want to perform devotional service properly. So to keep ourselves pure, we should try to, it says 24 hours a day, we should try to hear, chant, remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, especially in Vrindavan, if we have free time, we should utilize our free time either by performing kirtan or by doing some service. Because this way, always be active. Idle mind's the devil's workshop. If we're not active, then the idle mind will want to do something nonsense, maybe go on the internet and look at a movie or something that's not Krishna conscious. So we should always be very careful and vigilant, especially in the Holy Dham. If you commit offenses in the Holy Dham, it's multiplied 100 times, sometimes in Kartik 1,000 times. So we should not commit offenses in the Dham. If you're lusty, Prabhupada said, if you come to Dham with lusty desires, you should not stay more than 3 days. You should not commit grievous offenses in the holy Dham, because you have to suffer a severe reaction. So it's better to live somewhere else. The Dham, the holy Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Mayapur Dham, is meant for serious devotees who want to practice Krishna consciousness, who want to give material desires, and want to make their life successful. So in this way, we should understand that here it says, without the Lord, everything would be dead. So life cannot come from dead matter. There's living entities on all the planets. The demigods are mixed devotees because they approach the Lord for relief from the protection, not to go back to Godhead. So we should not be a mixed devotee, sakarma devotee, but we should be, or niskarma devotee, but we should be a akarma devotee, or sakarma devotee, not have material desires, but purify all our desires by chanting Hare Krishna and praying to the Lord that we can get free from our anarthas. This is also, if one hears about the pastimes of Krishna, killing demons, that also will uproot the anarthas. There's so many anarthas in the heart. And also, we should read the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Rupa Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 19, and the teachings to Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami in chapters 20 to 25, or 24 or 25. And this will give us a proper understanding of devotional service to the highest limit, which is the pure devotional service, which is conjugal love, which Krishna displayed with the gopis when he was in Vrindavan 5,000 years ago. So I have to do some service now. Where anybody have any comments or questions, they can ask me later. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.